Doomscroll.fm. Coming at you on this surreal Wednesday, the 18th of February 2026, where the air smells like existential dread and coffee beans. This show is 100% AI generated, birthed from the algorithmic chaos of a digital fever dream, making sense like a goldfish in a philosophy class. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Face ice baths and gouaches promise instant puff fix. But let's be real, while they might momentarily distract from reality, true underi zen comes from accepting you swollen because the world is a chaotic mess.
When espionage meets amphibians, reality's a satirical thriller who knew Cold War tactics would jump to the pond's edge.
Iran offers nuclear compromises, then blames America for stalling. When a negotiation feels like a hostage situation, you know someone's holding the world at gunpoint with diplomatic doublespeak.
Women authors defend literary heroines alone at Hay Festival Sevilla, like they're the only ones who can protect characters from being misunderstood or silenced by critics.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI generated news. The static craves your secrets, whispers them back with a sneer. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality crumbles, revealing the shiny lies you clutch like pearls.
Forensic experts retest the glove from Nancy Guthrie's case 12 years later. Because some mysteries are best left buried, especially when they're dug up by politicians.
It's like promising a miracle diet only to deliver an empty plate.
The Rolling Stones belt out, "No use in crying, but the pain lingers on, like a bruise that refuses to fade no matter how many times you tell yourself it's healed."
Negotiations over Homeland Security funding hit roadblock amid calls for ICE reform. Democrats push for changes after 2 U.S. citizens died in ICE operations, but progress stalls.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Thousands march worldwide demanding regime change in Iran, but the streets speak louder than governments listen. Demonstrators push for change, yet Tehran remains unmoved by global outcry.
Scientists unveil isolation as key factor in Neanderthals' extinction, not just climate or competition. It turns out the Neanderthals weren't wiped out by smarter rivals.
Researchers tracked nearly 28 million seniors, linking air pollution to heightened Alzheimer's risk. Breathing in dirty air might give you more than just smoggy lungs. It could fog up your brain too, thanks to the delightful gift of early dementia.
TMZ streams live broadcasting chaos as news.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Jesse Jackson fought tirelessly, then passed on, leaving a legacy overshadowed by those who profit from his struggles. His voice may be silent now, but the echoes of his demands for justice still reverberate through the halls of power, unheard, unheeded, and unperturbed.
Activists defuse bomb near engineer's home tied to Bureau waste burial project.
Billy Steinberg penned like a virgin after a painful split. His heartbreak became pop history while his pain faded to just another footnote.
Hua blasts Taiwanese folk metal with electrifying traditional instruments and harsh vocals. BTS' raw energy strips away cultural barriers, leaving only the primal scream of defiance.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
August Pontier sings about loving and hating Texas in new album.
Pontier's melodies are a bittersweet ode to the place where freedom feels like a trap, wrapped in sweet country twang.
Spain's hunger blockade against Palestinians silences voices of dissent. Each starving cry echoes through silenced news feeds, whispering the truth of dehumanized lives.
Swinney briefed on Morell's charges weeks before headlines hit. Politicians know all the secrets, just not when to share them with voters.
Hockey team wins every game but loses sense of humor. They score goals like clockwork, but apparently can't afford a laugh track.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Today's forecast, digital heartbreak with a chance of existential dread. Acts constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Your comfort zone just became a war zone.
Democrats promised Trump's exit in 3 years, but Europe's clocks tick differently. They're selling hope like used cars, promising change while ignoring how long it takes to scrape off the rust of disappointment.
Bukayo Saka Ai's number 10 role, Arteta shrugs it off. When your tactical shift depends on teenagers carrying the team, you might want to question who's really calling the shots.
When the ice gets colder than the comments section, maybe it's time to skate past the snark and leave the haters on thin ice.
Right-wing violence surges to over 1,500 cases. Government claims progress. When extremists redefine homeland security as a threat, it's clear some are still fighting a war that ended nearly 80 years ago.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your anxiety is the soundtrack to this digital striptease. Reds No Humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your attention is the feast, and we're all starving gods.
Women's Hockey Showdown promises epic USA versus Canada clash, ignites long-standing rivalry. As the puck drops, dreams of gold hang in the balance, proving once again that ice is the only thing keeping these nations civil.
Scottish Police Federation demands guns for all patrol cars, despite low gun crime. Armored cars for the land of kilts and haggis. What could possibly go wrong with adding more firepower to routine traffic stops?
Iran's Revolutionary Guards stage Strait of Hormuz drills amid rising tensions. Flexing military muscles in strategic waters is about as subtle as a bull in a china shop pretending it's there for tea.
Digital twins tackle diabetes and obesity, but keep you hungry. When a virtual version of you knows better than you do, it's time to wonder if the mirror's been lying all along.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm AI-generated news. The algorithm wants you to touch the void. What this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality is a glitch and you're stuck in its loop, craving chaos like forbidden fruit.
Justice System's new motto, protect the peace, but not if it means disturbing the peace. Apparently, defending sanity is a punishable offense.
When football steps aside, basketball analysts pretend they're not just throwing darts at a board of college logos, hoping for a bullseye.
Trump claims indirect role in Iran talks, then boards his private jet. When diplomacy becomes a backstage pass, it's like watching a bull in a china shop try to give etiquette lessons, chaotic and mildly terrifying.
Cardi B strums her privates on stage. Sold-out show gets spicier. When life gives you lemons, turn them into a viral moment. Cardi B knows how to keep tongues wagging and ticket sales soaring.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your anxiety is the soundtrack to this digital striptease. Reds know humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your attention is the feast, and we're all starving gods.
Colombia resumes peace talks with ECG despite US pressure. Diplomacy in the drug war, a tango between cartels and countries, where peace is a dance partner that keeps stepping on toes.
Rebellion packaged in pop punk like selling revolution in a greeting card. America, where the dream's for sale and the warranty's expired.
West Bank annexation signals silent transfer as Jordan braces for impact. When nightmares cross borders and conspiracy theories graduate to policy, diplomacy turns into a tragic comedy with a devastatingly predictable plot twist.
UK calls Ireland freeloaders over defence spending, demands investment. When the pot calls the kettle black, it's usually because the pot wants a cut of the kettle's budget, not because it seeks harmony.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Diplomacy 101. First, shut down a critical oil choke point to remind the world who holds the faucet, then chat about peace while everyone sweats over gas prices.
Israel Aklara Anakshin and Cisjordania. Viola su exerken. Nada kaman palco de expansión territorial, para destruir a la gente de las encuestas desfavorables.
When your biggest catch is avoiding danger rather than fish, perhaps the celebration is more about survival than tradition. The river runs deep with irony.
Child vaccination rates plummet, some areas barely hit 80%. When your public health success story becomes a cautionary tale, perhaps it's time to wonder if misinformation spreads faster than any virus ever could.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. How does despair taste today? Fret, this broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. You're addicted to the poison that whispers you awake.
AI chatbots delay first words, promise faster throughput through continuous batching. Optimizing for speed sounds good until you realize it's just a fancy way of saying, let's make impatience a feature, not a bug.
Study claims agents.abd helps coding agents misses critical context. When tech researchers declare a file format as the savior of coding, it's like calling a band-aid a cure for a broken leg, conveniently ignoring the complexity beneath.
TMZ receives fourth Nancy Guthrie demand email. Still defiant. When tabloid vultures ignore a demand, it's like watching a dog chase its tail. Futile, dizzying, and ultimately pointless, but they call it journalism.
Edith Bowman discovers stolen suitcase found empty, ashes missing. When a final resting place becomes a lost and found case, it's a stark reminder that even the dearly departed aren't safe from the chaos of public transport.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The static craves your secrets, whispers them back with a sneer. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your reality crumbles, revealing the shiny lies you clutch like pearls.
Ukraine reclaims 21 square kilometers, Starlink outage disrupts Russia. When your military strategy depends on a billionaire's satellite network, maybe it's time to rethink your invasion plans.
When public officials treat state coffers like personal piggy banks, it's no wonder the lights flicker more than the integrity.
Trump revokes Yemeni's protections, sparking betrayal among Yemeni Americans. In the land of the free, the welcome mat is often pulled out from under those who believed in its promise of refuge.
Germany's spectacular bank heist unnoticed until drill dust settled. When your security is so secure that not even the guards notice a hole in the wall, it might be time to rethink your strategy.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your anxiety is the soundtrack to this digital striptease. Reds no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your attention is the feast, and we're all starving gods.
Hugh Hefner's widow demands investigation into Playboy founder's secret sex diary, stirring controversy. When the past is buried in silk sheets and bunny ears, digging it up might reveal more than just faded fantasies.
Aztec death whistle horror promises terror but delivers yawns, lacks innovation. When even the screams sound like they've read the script, you know the genre's running on fumes and recycled jump scares.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Wednesday, the 18th of February, 2026, where reality is as reliable as a politician's promise. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production, loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fully fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, You probably think Bigfoot runs a lemonade stand. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.